Lives Matter! Black Lives Matter! Black Lives Matter! Minneapolis was in flames. Minnesota was bursting like hell. George Floyd, Black Lives Matter. The greatest wide receiver in the history of the NFL. A brother at quarterback after Black Lives Matter. A black quarterback is winning the Super Bowl this year. As a matter of fact, I have already called the Cardinals winning Super Bowl 55 over 2 years ago. I was waiting for this. I'm literally waiting for Black Lives Matter to take the country by its hands, to divide the country. All this chaos with agitators causing civil unrest and mass rioting. Minneapolis, Minnesota is gonna recover. Larry Fitzgerald is the face of Black Lives Matter for the NFL season. The Minneapolis native is winning right after the current events over at his hometown of Minneapolis, Minnesota. The Cardinals with the colored quarterback Kyler Murray are winning the Super Bowl. A black quarterback's winning the Super Bowl. It's no coincidence that Larry Fitzgerald's the greatest wide receiver to ever play the game. It's no coincidence that Kyler Murray himself is black. It's Minnesota that has Gematria of 38. It's pandemic that has Gematria of 38. The Super Bowl is at Tampa this year. Florida has Gematria of 38. It is Tampa that has Gematria of 15. It's Texas where Kyler Murray plays at as Gematria of 15. It's the Cardinals that has the Gematria of Tampa. It is DeAndre Hopkins. DeAndre Hopkins has Gematria of 51. The killing of Houston native George Floyd, 46 years of age. George Floyd, the native of Houston, Texas. DeAndre Hopkins, the Cardinals got from the Houston Texans. He is born on a date of 6-6. That is 66. That is the Gematria of title, having Gematria of 66. This is all a symbolic reference to the killing of George Floyd at Minneapolis, Minnesota. Larry Fitzgerald and the Arizona Cardinals are winning the Super Bowl to end a 74-year championship title drought. It is Larry that would win the Super Bowl right after what has occurred over at Minneapolis, Minnesota, right before the start of training camps in July. The killing of George Floyd. George has Gematria of 39. Arizona has Gematria of 39. Larry Fitzgerald, born on August the 31st, adding up to 39. Larry Fitzgerald is born on the 31st day of the year. It is Houston, where George Floyd is originally from. That has Gematria of 31. Again, the Cardinals got DeAndre Hopkins, the former Houston Texans wide receiver. Head coach Cliff Kingsbury and Kyler Murray were from the state of Texas too, where DeAndre Hopkins played at. It is the killing of George Floyd that is going to be in tribute to the Minneapolis native and the Arizona Cardinals and the Black Lives Matter movement in the black quarterback winning the Super Bowl this year. Floyd has Gematria of 62. Cardinal has Gematria of 62. It's Floyd, it's Cliff, it's Kyler that has Gematria of 26. I talked about the Cardinals being the first team to hire a female coach. They had a female intern during one of its training camps with Bruce Arians. Originally, my theory was that Elizabeth Warren would become the president because Elizabeth Warren is from Oklahoma City, and that Oklahoma is the 46th state in the union. My theory was that Elizabeth Warren was from Oklahoma, that we would see Kyler Murray win the Super Bowl on the team that was the first to hire a female coach. So this was behind the theory of the Cardinals winning the Super Bowl right after the inauguration of the first female president. Now, really, what the red of the Cardinals represents the red of the Pope's ordained bishops, the College of Cardinals. The Cardinals are a Jesuit team with Jesuit symbolism. We're going to see the inauguration of the second Catholic president in the history of the country. The Cardinals used to be over at Chicago. The Cardinals made the Super Bowl right before Obama, the Chicago native, took office in 2009. We're going to see Joe Biden, the Catholic, inaugurated. We're going to see the Cardinals win the Super Bowl right after Joe Biden, the Catholic, is inaugurated. Another reason why Arizona turns blue this November. Chicago has to march at 37. Joe Biden has to march at 37. Kamala Harris has to march at 37. The Cardinals would go 73 years without winning the championship. I think Kamala Harris being the picked person to become the first female head coach is going to tie into the Arizona Cardinals with really the Black Lives Matter narrative with the black quarterback Kyler Murray, as well as the fact that the Cardinals were the first team to hire a woman right during the start of training camp in 2015. George Floyd was 46 years of age. Chicago is to march at 46. Derek Chauvin was the name of the officer. The Cardinals are going to beat the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. The Minneapolis native is beating the Chiefs. Kyler Murray, Black Lives Matter! Black Lives Matter is beating the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. The Kansas City Chiefs represent the police. The Chiefs represent the police. The police going down the Super Bowl. They're going down in the Super Bowl. They represent the police. Larry Fitzgerald represents the Black Lives Matter movement at Minneapolis. Police, the Kansas City Chiefs. Glendale having to march at 33, where the Cardinals play at. Patrick Mahomes playing on the team that represents the police. The black quarterback and the Minneapolis native are winning the Super Bowl. They're beating the Chiefs in the Super Bowl. The Cardinals would go 73 years without winning the championship. It was not only was George Floyd a security guard, he was a truck driver. Truck has to march up 73. Crown has to march up 73. Larry Fitzgerald. The coronavirus. Corona is crown. Right? The Cardinals are going to be winning the Super Bowl after 73 years without winning. It's first championship since they were at Chicago. Chicago Cardinals, Minneapolis. The Vikings play at whatever Chicago street at Minneapolis, the address of the Vikings Stadium. Chicago Cardinals has to march at 73. They're going to go 73 years without winning the championship. Heck, it's police violence has to march at 73. Larry Fitzgerald being born at Minneapolis represents the current events happening right now. It's no coincidence the Cardinals have the black quarterback. George Floyd Jr. was killed. Arizona Cardinals has to march up 75. Police brutality, the coronavirus. Michael Bidwills hospitalized with the coronavirus. Bidwills is a Jesuit himself. His father died on the day of the feast of the guardian angels. You see, these are Jesuit owners that own the Arizona Cardinals. By the way, it's also no coincidence that Clemson has a gematria of police too. I believe he made some comments about Confederate statues, DeAndre Hopkins too. The amount of time from the death of George Floyd to the day of the Super Bowl is a time span of 37 weeks. First championship since they were at Chicago. Larry Fitzgerald is 37 years of age. Chicago has to march up 37 right after Joe Biden is inaugurated. First championship since the Cardinals were at Chicago. This is no coincidence. It's no coincidence that Chicago equals 46. We're going to see the 46th person. We're going to see the 46th president of the United States. The first Democratic president since the Chicago native Barack Obama. This is why George Floyd died at 46 years of age. Heck, Colin Kaepernick's 33rd birthday is November the 3rd, the day of the election. I talked about it. Glendale police. It's the 33rd season for the Cardinals in Arizona. It's Murray that has too much of 33. Police, right? Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter. They are beating the Chiefs. They're beating the police in the Super Bowl. Black quarterback against black quarterback. PC police gets what it wants during the Super Bowl championship. Chandler Jones targeting Michael Strahan's sack record number 55. Chandler Jones, Patrick Peterson, Buda Baker, Kenyon Drake's new running back Cardinals got. Locked up the tackle. There's a new team every single year. The Cardinals have all the ingredients for the NFL and the commissioner to hype up this Kyler Murray kid. The amount of time from the day of the shooting, the day that George Floyd died at the hands of police brutality at Minneapolis, to Larry Fitzgerald's birthday, 98 days. 98 is the gematria of champion. This is all in tribute to Larry Fitzgerald. 98 days later from the day that George Floyd died at Minneapolis is Larry Fitzgerald's 37th birthday. 3 months and 7 days later, 37 weeks later, is the beginning of the NFL season. Now, the amount of time that George Floyd was killed to the beginning of the NFL season, right? Cardinals are going to be in the Super Bowl. They begin the season against the 49ers. If the Cardinals beat the 49ers, and they can believe they can beat any team, this is how it's scripted to be. 111 days later, Providence, God and gematria 111. Catholicism, right? Kamala Harris lets Catholic priests get away with molesting kids. Joe Biden, Jesuit. Catholic Church PPP loans. Jesuit Zionist rule. In sports and in the elections. Election narratives with Joe Biden being Obama's VP, the Chicago native. Kamala Harris and the first female coach, Jen Welter. Jen Welter, gematria 12 and 40. 2020, 40 year. I talked about that before. Welter has gematria of 29. No coincidence again. We're going to see the Black Lives Matter movement. I mean, George Floyd died. He's a Houston native, and the Houston Texans begin the season against the police. The Houston native died at the hands of police brutality. This is what the Houston Texans represent. This is literally symbolic programming right in front of your damn eyes. Right in front of your damn eyes. Can't you see this? Can't you see this? Can't you see exactly what's happening right in front of your face? September the 13th of 2020, date numerology of 62. Larry Fitzgerald, the Minneapolis native, the Black Lives Matter. The first female president coming right after this election, Joe Biden's death. 108 days later from May the 25th to September the 10th, that is Fitzgerald. The amount of time to the NFL season. Kyler Murray, the black quarterback. Black Lives Matter. The Cardinals are beating the Chiefs. Arizona is one of the states that Donald Trump is going to lose during his landslide loss during this scripted election. And with the two evils, and then you have the worst of two evils, and then you have the just as bad as the other evil, the corporate democratic establishment. Kobe Bryant, NBA debut at Minneapolis. Kobe tribute with the Lakers. Larry Fitzgerald, Minneapolis. Larry Fitzgerald saying that his city is all torn apart. New York Times editorial. Larry Fitzgerald. Killed for allegedly using a counterfeit $20 bill. They're wanting to change Andrew Jackson to Harriet Tubman, I believe it was. Absolute madness. Absolute madness. Absolute madness at the NFL season is completely centered around the Black Lives Matter movement. Black Lives Matter has gematria 27. The team in red, the Cardinals, gematria 27. Clemson. DeAndre Hopkins. Right? It's all scripted. It's all scripted. The political theme of the NFL season, the Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter. We saw it again. We saw it again, everybody. Systemic racism. Election narratives. First woman president, that Kamala girl, Kamala Harris, right? Kamala Harris. Joe Biden, Pennsylvania. Larry Fitzgerald played his football at Pitt. He played his ball at Pennsylvania. DeAndre Hopkins is even a 33. This is the 33rd season of the Cardinals in Arizona. All rigged by your Masons. It's all scripted. 28 years of age. Crown, Jamacha, 28. DeAndre Hopkins. Kyler Murray. Hopkins, number 10. Larry, 11. 21. The Jamacha of title. Kamala Harris in Catholicism, for instance, sold out to the Jesuits so she could be Joe Biden's running mate alongside for President of the United States. Black Lives Matter. The Minneapolis native Larry Fitzgerald is winning the Super Bowl in tribute to the Black Lives Matter movement. He would win the Super Bowl 12 years later. He would go 11 years without winning. Black as too much of 11. Larry Fitzgerald is number 11. Right? He is winning the Super Bowl this year, Larry Fitzgerald. This is where this whole madness began at Minneapolis, Minnesota, and they have the black quarterback on top of it. Beating the Chiefs, beating the police. Colin Kaepernick's 33rd birthday. Cardinals' 33rd season in Arizona. All scripted. Chicago Cardinals and Joe Biden being Obama's vice president. Chicago native. Kamala Harris, first female president. Hate her so much. It wasn't Warren in Oklahoma in Kyler Murray's college football team. It's Kamala Harris and Black Lives Matter connecting to Jen Welter.